Now to new developments in the search for Nancy Guthrie, the mother of Today Show host Savannah Guthrie, who's been missing since February 1st.
The FBI doesn't release interrogation footage unless they want you to see something. And what just surfaced from the Nancy Guthrie case is the kind of recording that makes your stomach drop. Not because of the crime itself, but because of the man sitting in that chair. Calm, rehearsed, completely convinced he was going to walk out of that building a free man. He was wrong. Over the next several minutes, we are breaking down every single moment of this leaked interrogation.
Police are looking at a possible new lead in the disappearance of Nancy Guthrie.
From the first word he spoke to the precise second, his entire world collapsed in that room. Stay with us, because this one gets dark fast. Setting the scene. It is 5:30 in the morning. A SWAT team has just put a battering ram through the front door of a quiet suburban home. The man being walked into a stark, windowless FBI interview room is still in his pajamas. His hair is uncombed. His eyes are swollen from sleep. But here is the thing. He is already performing. Before he even sits down, he is blinking under the fluorescent lights with this theatrical confusion, like a man who genuinely cannot understand why federal agents just dragged him out of bed at dawn. He is not a frightened man. He is a man running a script. Two agents take their seats across from him. The lead interrogator is Special Agent Russell Dante, a 23-year veteran out of the FBI Violent Crimes Division, and a man with a very specific reputation inside the Bureau. He has a gift for breaking suspects who believe they are smarter than everyone in the room. His partner, a younger agent, barely speaks for the next 6 hours, but his pen never stops moving. Every word, every flinch, every shift in body language, all of it documented in real time. Now here is where the son-in-law makes the single most catastrophic mistake of his entire life, and he makes it in under 3 seconds. Agent Dante reads the Miranda warnings, standard procedure, and the son-in-law waves them off. Not nervously, not reluctantly. He dismisses the right to an attorney the way you'd wave off a waiter offering you a menu you've already memorized. He had clearly decided, long before that morning, that he was going to outmaneuver 2 federal investigators and walk out of that building before lunch. That decision destroyed him, and we are going to show you exactly how it happened.
The new developments tonight in the disappearance of Nancy Guthrie. Authorities are now focusing tonight on 2 central pieces of evidence, including what could be that crucial DNA found in Nancy Guthrie's home.
The performance. First 90 minutes. For the first hour and a half, the son-in-law is flawless. He answers every question without hesitation. He shows 0 signs of nervous behavior. He maintains steady eye contact, keeps his hands flat and visible on the table, and delivers his story with the measured composure of someone who rehearsed it. He tells the agents he has absolutely no idea why he is there. He calls the whole situation insane. He says he loves Nancy like she is his own mother, and that he would never, ever harm her. He even leans forward at one point and asks the agents how the investigation is going. Think about that. A man whose mother-in-law has disappeared, presumably kidnapped, is sitting in an FBI interview room asking the agents for an update. He is playing the worried, cooperative family member so convincingly that a casual observer watching that footage might actually believe him. Agent Dante lets him talk. He lets him repeat the story once, twice, 3 times. With each retelling, the son-in-law grows slightly more confident, slightly more settled into the lie. And Dante is doing nothing to stop it. No pushback, no challenges, just patient, almost bored acknowledgement. Because Dante is not gathering information at this point. He is building a runway. He is letting this man lock himself into a version of events with such precision and confidence that when the demolition finally comes, there will be nowhere left to hide. The story the son-in-law tells is clean. He describes a peaceful evening, card games, laughter, the kind of wholesome family gathering that would make anyone relax. He claims he walked Nancy to her door personally. He says he waited on the porch until he heard the lock click before he left. It is the perfect alibi. Warm, specific, completely impossible to argue with, unless you have what Agent Dante has sitting in that laptop bag. Ask yourself this. Have you ever watched someone lie so confidently that for a moment, You almost believed them, because that is exactly what is happening in this room. And it is about to end.
The fluorescent hum of the interrogation room provides a sterile, relentless backdrop to the psychological dismantling of a man who only hours prior believed he had engineered the perfect crime.
The recording. The room changes. In 4 seconds, 90 minutes in, Dante signals to his partner. No words, just a look. The younger agent reaches into a bag and produces a laptop and audio equipment. He sets them on the table without any explanation. No context, no introduction. The gear just appears, and the atmosphere in that room shifts immediately. Dante's tone changes. The conversational warmth he had been deploying for an hour and a half drains out of his voice, completely. He leans forward. He tells the son-in-law to listen very carefully. The son-in-law's initial reaction is mild curiosity. There is even a faint smirk, the subtle amusement of a man who assumes whatever the FBI thinks they have, he has already accounted for it. He is still in control, or so he believes. The recording plays. It is a traced call from a burner phone to the son-in-law's personal cell, time-stamped at 2:47 in the morning. On that call, a man's voice discusses Nancy's deteriorating condition. He talks about a failed ransom plan. He talks about what to do with her now that things have spiraled beyond what they originally intended. And the voice responding. The voice on the other end of that call is unmistakably, undeniably the son-in-law. Not similar, not possibly him. Him. He speaks with familiarity. He discusses logistics. He references details about Nancy's captivity that only someone who orchestrated the operation from the beginning would ever know. Now watch what happens to his body. The color drains from his face in real time, not gradually. Fast. His skin goes gray within seconds. His hands, which had been perfectly still and controlled on that table for 90 minutes, begin trembling so violently that the camera picks it up from 6 feet away. His entire posture collapses backward, like a man trying to physically disappear into his chair. His eyes dart between Dante and the second agent, searching every corner of that room for an exit that does not exist. The recording ends. Silence fills the room. Agent Dante lets it sit. He lets it press down. Then he breaks it with a single question delivered with devastating calm. He asks if that is his voice. The son-in-law tries to deny it. He says he doesn't know what that is, but his voice cracks on the words. Every syllable betrays him. Dante plays it again. This time he pauses at specific moments, isolating individual statements, forcing the son-in-law to sit with his own words one line at a time. Each pause is surgical. By the third pause, the son-in-law's breathing has changed completely. It is shallow and rapid, the breathing of someone fighting the urge to be sick. The rehearsed calm is gone, and it is never coming back.
The pursuit of justice in the disappearance of Nancy Guthrie has reached a fever pitch following a series of staggering revelations that have fundamentally altered the landscape of the investigation.
The text messages and digital evidence. The second agent drops a folder on the table. The sound it makes is heavy, deliberately so. Inside are printed copies of every text message exchanged between the son-in-law's phone and a contact identified in the investigation as Marcus, spanning the 3 weeks before Nancy disappeared through the night she was taken. Agent Dante begins reading them aloud, slowly, deliberately, sliding each page across the table so the son-in-law can see his own words reflected back at him in black ink. The messages are not vague. They are not open to interpretation. They discuss which night works best based on Nancy's schedule. They note that her daily routine is predictable. One message instructs Marcus to disable the doorbell camera first and specifies exactly where it is mounted. Another identifies the back door as the weak entry point because the front of the house has too much security. They discuss her medication, sleeping pills, taken around 10 o'clock in the evening, and note that the window immediately after creates the lowest risk opportunity. This is not a spontaneous act. This is a coordinated, premeditated plan, and every step of it was mapped out in writing, on his own phone, in his own words. But here is where it gets truly chilling. When agents recovered the son-in-law's laptop, what they found went far beyond the text messages. The search history on that device was a roadmap of escalating calculated intent. He searched how to kidnap someone without leaving physical evidence. He researched anonymous Bitcoin payment methods. He looked up how long elderly individuals can survive without access to their prescribed medications. And then, 72 hours before Nancy vanished, he searched whether accomplices receive lesser sentences if a victim dies during captivity. Let that land for a moment. He was not just planning a kidnapping. He was planning for the possibility that she would not survive it. He wanted to know in advance what the legal exposure looked like if an 84-year-old woman died in captivity. He had already run the calculation on her life. At this point in the interrogation, the second agent has stopped writing. He is just looking at the son-in-law. Even a veteran of violent crime cases, someone who has seen the worst of what people are capable of, appears momentarily affected by the coldness of what is laid out in front of him. The son-in-law's response? He claims his phone was hacked. He says someone framed him. Agent Dante doesn't even blink. Cell tower records place the phone at the son-in-law's confirmed locations, his home, his workplace, at the exact moment each message was sent, following his daily routine so precisely that no remote actor could have replicated it. Marcus's phone contained the same messages. Carrier servers confirmed them. Cloud backups were forensically authenticated. Every exit closes, one by one. The motive: money, desperation, and a ticking clock. 3 hours into the interrogation, the agents pivot to the motive. And what they lay out is the portrait of a man so financially buried that he convinced himself the only way out was through his mother-in-law. The financial picture is catastrophic. His checking account is overdrawn by thousands of dollars. His credit cards are maxed out. His mortgage is in default with foreclosure threatened within 60 days. His combined debts exceed $250,000. And in the 3 weeks immediately before Nancy disappeared, $30,000 in cash was withdrawn from his accounts with no traceable destination. When asked where that money went, his answers shift: business expenses, then home repairs, then a blank stare, and the admission that he simply cannot remember. But here is what makes the motive not just understandable in a criminal sense, but urgent. Nancy Guthrie's existing will left her multi-million-dollar estate divided equally between her 2 daughters. If Nancy passed away before changing that document, his wife stood to inherit approximately $2 million. Under marital property rules, that inheritance would be shared with her husband. Every debt erased, every problem solved, a complete financial resurrection. There was just one problem. Nancy had already scheduled an appointment with her attorney to execute a revised will, one that would dramatically reduce his wife's share of the estate. And that appointment was only days away. The son-in-law knew about the revised will because agents confirmed he had overheard Nancy discussing the planned changes at a family dinner. He was not just financially desperate. He was watching a $2 million lifeline disappear in real time, with a hard deadline counting down. The kidnapping was not random. The timing was not coincidental. Nancy had to disappear before she could sign that document. The breaking point. Hour 4.5. 4.5 hours into the interrogation, the footage shows a man who is no longer performing. He is slumped. His eyes are red. The precision and composure of those first 90 minutes have been completely consumed by exhaustion and the weight of everything that has been laid in front of him. Dante reads this moment perfectly. The confrontational pressure disappears. Dante's tone shifts, not to softness exactly, but to something that sounds almost like understanding. He tells the son-in-law that sometimes things spiral, that no one sets out for events to go this far. He reminds him that Nancy is 84 years old, that she is alone somewhere, without her heart medication. He tells him, directly, that he can stop her suffering right now. The son-in-law's eyes fill with tears. And then, the first real crack. He admits that he knew Marcus was having financial difficulties. He says he gave Marcus some money to help him out, maybe $20,000, just to help a friend in a tough spot. That single sentence undid everything. In one admission, he had just confirmed the financial link between the man who orchestrated the crime and the man who carried it out. In his own words, on record, without an attorney present. The wall of lies collapses. He pivots to a new story. Marcus acted alone. Marcus must have overheard family conversations and used that information independently. He tries to build a version of events where he is a tragic bystander who gave a friend too much money without asking enough questions. Dante nods. He listens. He lets the narrative build. Then he delivers one sentence. He tells the son-in-law that Marcus is in the next room, and Marcus is telling a very different story. The blood leaves his face again. According to Marcus, the son-in-law came to him with the plan fully formed. He laid out the timeline, the entry point, the specific details of how it would work. He offered Marcus $50,000 to take Nancy and hold her until she passed away from lack of medication or until a ransom could be collected. He did not hire someone to scare his mother-in-law. He hired someone to let her die. What you just watched unfold in that interrogation room is not just the story of one man's catastrophic decisions. It is a masterclass in how evidence dismantles even the most prepared liar. Layer by layer, piece by piece, until there is nothing left. The recording, the text messages, the laptop searches, the financial records, the will, the ticking clock. Every single piece of that case told the same story, and every single denial the son-in-law offered was already accounted for before he ever sat down in that chair. Here is what we want to know, from you. Which piece of evidence do you think was the most devastating? The phone recording that broke his composure, or the laptop search that showed he had already planned for Nancy not to survive? Drop it in the comments. And while you're there, do you believe a man who searched whether accomplices get reduced sentences if the victim dies deserves anything less than the maximum? Nancy Guthrie deserved better. And the evidence made sure the truth couldn't stay buried. If you're not subscribed yet, now is the time. We cover the cases the mainstream media glosses over, the evidence, the interrogations, the moments that change everything. Hit subscribe and turn on notifications so you don't miss what's coming next.